What's going on, Sean?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's popping?
The pen. Good, man. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Not much, man. I know there's a lot of craziness going on right now. A lot. So I really wanted to take this time to, of course, get the message out, but also talk about music just to get that, maybe, just get something else going on right now in our minds aside from all the madness. But definitely want to talk about that as well. But man, you have so much, history, a lot of hits, and we just want to go through all of that.
Man, first of all, I want to say thank you, man, and I'm very, very excited. Um, you know, Even though we're going through a lot of issues through these epidemics,
Yeah.
um, whether it's racial epidemics or health epidemics, um, it's just something for us all to grow from. I feel like
Yeah.
the business that we're dealing with in life now is life changing. I feel like we're dealing with moments that are going to define the next 20 years of our life, right, and beyond. Um, and so, when you're dealing with these moments, man, you gotta take every moment um, carefully. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really
Exactly.
important for us to understand that. You know, I've been the type of creative or just person. I won't even say creative. Um, that I take one day at a time, and I've always, even as a child, I feel like people used to always tell me that I took life too serious. And
Yeah.
honestly, man, I pay attention to everything that happens in life, man. So we definitely going
Yeah.
through a life changing moment at this time, and we gotta we gotta appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta say, like, one of the things that you've been able to do with your music is you've been able to unite people all over the world. And I'll tell you this, I don't know if anyone's talked to you about this. Even, because when we looked at your battle with Dream, which was an epic battle, I feel like one of the things people didn't really pay attention to because they haven't had the opportunity to travel to Asia. Like I've been to Japan, I've been to Hong Kong, and Sean, I think I've told you this in the past, but like there's instances where I'll walk around the mall or just on the street, and I'll hear goodies, I'll hear yeah, I'll hear run, I'll hear these records that you wrote, and like that needs to be factored into these battles, like just the international success. Like you were able to impact the world with these hits.
Man, thank you so much, man. And you know what? To be honest with you, as I was saying before, like not to be redundant, but you know,
Yeah.
um, I I just feel like me and Dream just not in the same class.
Right.
It's not even a disrespect thing. It's just you can tell
Hmm.
them. You could tell them because you've been. I grew up abroad, right? So
Yeah.
but I also have traveled abroad, and my music travels abroad on a whole nother
Yeah.
level. And I just bring a different type of energy to the game, right? And I ain't gonna lie, man. Michael Jordan didn't like being compared to people that he felt like wasn't up to his standard.
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest, I just feel like he got some more, he got some more hits to put up before um he could just he could just be considered in my class, dog. It's just how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, were you aware of that impact that you had internationally? I know you put out your album in Japan, back in 2008, but are you aware that your music has transcended so many different regions? Because it's actually amazing if you think about it.
Well, are you what's your nationality? I know you're Asian, but what are you
Yeah, so
Japanese?
I'm in Canada, but my family is in Hong Kong. So I've traveled to Hong Kong, I've traveled to like Japan and all those areas. So I'm there.
Yeah, well, like
Yeah,
Hong Kong is is really one of my favorite places outside of America. Um,
yeah,
because the culture there is just so diverse in reference
yeah,
to how the Japanese sort of like, well, I just say Asians, period, man.
yeah,
Asians have a different perspective of how much they really embrace our culture
hmm,
and respect our culture and respect the people who really, really put in the work. And
yeah,
so I've always gotten so much love from my Asian friends, and growing up, man. That's why this whole situation with police brutality and racial discrimination and things of that sort. That's why it hits so hard at home with me,
yeah,
because I'm from the hood, man. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, man. I'm from Carrollton Road, Atlanta, Georgia. But um, and I would never like once you come from this, you don't never it never leaves you. So you're able to go outside the world and go outside the country and be able to experience
yeah,
different cultures and sort of like embrace those cultures, and not only embrace those cultures but allow those cultures to embrace you. And with that
yeah,
being said, it's just like I traveled and I felt the energy that people give me when they hear these records. You know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah,
it's real. So I really don't I'm not I don't have no negativity in my spirit. It's just I'm just a competitor and I like to compete.
yeah.
And it's just Dream, like, they just posted that video, man. That video kind of made me mad. It was a little the video he posted and was just talking about he was a culture, and it's just like telling me that I'm not a culture. I'm like, dog, like you better go check
Mm,
you better check your shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good, man. It ain't no stress. It's love.
yeah.
Um, that's all I ever was about: spreading love and making people dance, man, and keeping people entertained and just giving people a good time.
Yeah, I mean, even if you go through like your Wikipedia page and you just see all those hits, they just keep coming year after year. But I want to take it back to the beginning, Sean. I've been talking about that Latif record for a minute now. That's such an amazing record, and that was like early on for you as a songwriter. Just take me back to a young Sean Garrett during that era. What was going on?
You know what, man? Man, shout out to my brother Latif, man. That's one of my that's a really good friend. I haven't talked
Yeah,
to Latif in a little bit, and I feel like I will always feel like me and Latif are brothers. Um, and no matter whenever I see him, it'll be like just like brothers, man. Like he had just signed his first deal. I had just did my publishing deal, and I forgot who really hooked us up, man. But I just loved his voice, man. I thought his voice was amazing, and I just felt like I could give him some shit that would just be like super dope. You know what I'm saying? And I was working with Teddy Bishop at the time, and did this record for him, man, called I Don't Want to Hurt You. Girl, I feel that I'll
yeah,
be cheating you if I continue to see you. Cause you're ready to get serious.
yep,
I'm not, cause I'm still curious. I'd rather keep it real. Tell you how I feel. Cause I think you're beautiful. And I don't wanna hurt you, no. That was yeah, that was a really good time, man. He was signed to Motown at the time, and I
hmm,
felt like Kadar Massenberg was running Motown at the time, and I felt like Kadar really believed in him. Um,
yeah,
you know, it taught me a very intense lesson about the music business, though,
right,
and it really made me step up. It just made me step up
mm,
whole like it made me step my shit all the way up, dog. And
wow,
I feel like I analyze things from a perspective that most people just most normal people don't um sort of like I'll say it like this. I look at things that I feel like people don't really pay attention to. And I judge myself quite often. And you know, I'm very um I'm very open to being criticized. I'm very
yeah,
open to criticizing myself. And so I'm one of those people, man, who likes to criticize myself, and I criticize myself. I
mm,
didn't criticize anybody else. I criticized myself. And I felt like
right,
the success of that record, I really felt like that record was going to blow, right?
yeah,
And I feel like the record did good, but it didn't go all the way like I wanted it to.
yeah,
And I I feel like it was timing, and I feel like um, it was just timing, dog, and it was just like
Yeah.
you know, Usher was still Usher. Like it was just a time where it was a lot of male artists out, um,
Yeah.
I felt like bro was just getting his feet wet. He was just getting his feet wet, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of artists. I'll say this: a lot of artists, man, really they really be ready to jump out there. And Latif was so young and so like man, his voice, man, was just ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just a time, man, where I just feel like, he was young and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have a team either. He had
Mm.
the label. He had the label, but
Yeah.
he had no team. And you need a team, man. But
Yeah.
that's a classic record. That's a classic
Amazing.
album. You know,
Yep.
Latif is just amazing, man. I love Philadelphia, man. Philadelphia is a amazing place. That was just a great time in my life, man. To be honest with you, I was so
Amazing.
young,
And it's,
man. I was young as hell, and I was
yep.
excited. You know what I'm saying? I was a little kid, but I know how to put
That's
some
amazing.
fucking songs together. You feel me?
Amazing record, subject matter, crazy as well. And then, fast forward here, 2004, you've got, yeah, you've got Goodies on the radio. And these records, like, even when I listen to it now, they're not quote unquote traditional type of records. Like, you went out of the box and really came up with some really creative stuff. And, when you played it for executives, I know initially, yeah, wasn't, not everyone was on board with, yeah. I don't know what it was like with Goodies, but did you ever hesitate when the label executives were like, I don't know if that's the one, Sean. Did you ever hesitate?
If you didn't get a taste of my personality on um, Verzuz, I kind of feel like, man, I've always been sort of one of those creatives that was very non-traditional and
Mm-hmm.
not typical. And, I'm very sure of my own feelings and personality. So sometimes when I know it's right and somebody don't get it, sometimes it depends on my mood. I might not argue with you. I might just,
Mm,
I might not even fucking fight with you. I'm gonna fight, but I'm not gonna fight with you. You know what I'm saying? I might
mm-hmm.
end up just saying this person just doesn't understand what this is. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very difficult, man, to come up with records um,
Yeah,
that you feel like can really sort of induce another person, an- like
right.
like induce another person's personality. Right? That's
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to do. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like giving your idea of what another person's personality can be. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah,
sort of like that's kind of that's a lot sometimes. So I'll be honest with you, man. I was really blessed and thankful that like everything panned out the way it was, but it was definitely a challenge. A lot of songs like yeah, it was definitely one of them songs that nobody fucking liked. They thought I was
right.
tripping, but I don't even just think that it was just the record. I think it was the timing of the record. It was the last record that came on the album. It was a
Yeah,
shock to everyone. It was like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And then it wasn't like I was a person that like everybody knew. So it was just like, yo, what the fuck is this? And what's going on? And we already got a plan, and Confessions is already done, and we already know how we moving. But I was like, yo, dog, I think this record is gonna change your life. And
wow,
I wasn't aiming for a triple. I was aiming for the fucking fence.
right.
I was aiming not just for the fence. I was trying to knock that shit out the fucking stadium. And you know, that has to be the perspective. If you want to win, man, if you want to become something great, man, like, I love Kanye. The reason why I like Kanye a lot Yo, Kanye knows. He has his senses. He already fucking knows, but he has to convince everybody else, and it's like that's such a fight. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
It's not being creative. It's about convincing people that like your genius is telling you like what to do. It's just if
Hmm.
like we all got different geniuses in us, and I feel like sometimes people want to fight that, and it makes it so much more difficult, man. To they're calling you to be a genius,
Right.
but then they want to fucking curtail your genius, which is normal. Like that's just what they're
Yeah.
gonna do. But it's become um, at this point it's become time and time again. Um, it's just the
Right.
nature of it's just the nature of what comes with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never question your genius from that Destiny's Child album that you wrote to even, putting the early beginnings of Chris Brown. You gave him that sound with songs like Run It, Give Me That, Wall to Wall. Like, just talk about your mindset when you were working with a young Chris Brown. And, you were responsible, along with Jonte, for that sound
Yeah.
that people have, that love to this day.
Hmm. I mean, yeah. I love Chris. I love his energy. I'm gonna be honest, man. If me and Chris work together right now, and he really just surrendered a little bit, just gave his big bro just like the opportunity to kind of think with him.
Hmm.
Like Chris Brown could have the biggest, like we could make the biggest album in the world.
Hmm. I agree.
I'm telling you, dog. If Chris
Yeah.
Brown would just, if like he don't need me, he don't need me,
Yeah.
he don't need Jonte, but he do need us. If he wanna, like, he don't need us. He don't need us to make money. He don't need us to be a star. He don't need us to do that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
to make Thriller, to make something better than Thriller, we
Yeah.
could do it. We
Yeah.
could really do it, and we could give him insight on what to do in certain areas that just will make him seem so that will really make people recognize why he's such an amazing superstar. We just
Yeah.
had those. We just had those. We just. It's like Smokey Robinson, dog. Like if you go back, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the to go back and watch the Motown
Yeah.
documentary. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? With Smokey Robinson and Barry Gordy, but just some people just was put on this earth to do certain things,
Hmm.
and I feel like we could be what Quincy was to Michael. We could be that to Usher. I mean, excuse me, to Chris, because Chris really wants to do that. Like he
Mm.
really wants to be the greatest of all time. I feel like that in
Yeah.
my heart and my soul. And he has the ability to be that. He really do. And we love him. Like we love him so much. Like we love him. Like there's an unconditional love for Chris Brown. And Chris
Right.
sometimes just don't realize how much we love him because he be in his own world. And he should be. He deserves that. He deserves that. You know what I'm saying? Like we all be in our own world. But it's like when you're a star, you attract things. You attract things. He just attract energy.
Hmm.
And he's a Taurus. We know more about him than he know that we know about him. That's
Mm.
why I was able, like when I first met him, he was 15. So when I walked in the room, when I first met him, I met him twice. I met him once before I worked with him, and it was just it wasn't like it was nothing serious. It was just like he was just like a little brother, like a little cool ass, just a cool little motherfucker, dog. He's just a cool, like my sons, like both of my sons, I feel like are cool. They just
Mm.
naturally cool. Chris Brown just
Right.
naturally cool. I know in person.
Hmm.
I know if you meet me, like I'm naturally a cool person. I'm just cool.
Right.
I'm not trying to overdo shit. I'm not trying to be extra. My parents made me cool. Like they just taught me how to motherfucking carry myself and handle myself and be proud of myself to the point where I don't need nobody to make me feel proud of myself. Like I'm proud. You know what I'm saying? And my parents taught me how to love. You know, like one of my best friends when I was like 8 years old was like from like, I don't know, from like 8 to 13 years old. He was his mom was Korean, like he was Asian, like he was fucking my little childhood friends when I grew up in Europe, like, you know, cool as a motherfucker. Like my man Mike, oh yeah, he was that was my childhood friend. You know what I'm saying? Like that was one of my best friends. Now he
Wow.
does I think he's like financial, he's like a finance guy. But
Yeah.
we like to do shit like workout when we were young as fuck. Like I'm like 6, 7 years old, 8 years,
Yeah.
9, 7th grade, 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? Like this, just do shit, just cool ass do shit.
Hmm.
And I think you know it. It's no surprise that like as a grown man now, like I just have a natural cool. I think Chris Brown just always had a natural cool, and that's why everybody likes him. He's not just
Yeah.
a great performer. Motherfuckers like Chris.
Right.
And so it was easy for me to just like, mama, you may be 3 years old, but you are. Give me that. You be looking like you like he a cool motherfucker. So it's easy for me to say that kind of shit to him. And be like, yeah, I fought with that. Like that's my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like he just, he's just a super cool young motherfucker. Like, and so that's just those kind of people make it easy for you to articulate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know
Yeah.
if that's making sense to you, man, but like,
No, I think it is, and I think you nailed a point there. Like we're still waiting on Chris's Thriller album, and I was trying to figure out like who would be the right people to give him that. I think you got to be in there. You got to bring Scott Storch back in the mix as well. Like you, Scott, and Chris. Like if you put you three together, lock you guys up in one studio for a whole month, I think you guys could do it.
you fuck around and lock me, Chris, Storchy. See, a lot of times I would pick and choose the different track guys that I would work, track producers that I would work with, because
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm looking for a sound to be able to accommodate the conversation that we needed to do and elevate the feeling at the same time. It's other things. It's a conversation. It's the feeling. It's the emotion, all at the same
Hmm.
time. Chris is a vessel, and Nick and Chris can fucking write too. Now
Yeah.
it would just be crazy because I just would be the person to tell Chris, "Hey, Chris, you know, like Chris is a thug though. Not he not a thug, but he like a like he just real. He just real. He just
Yeah.
real. Like so, I'm the kind of person that would just like, but he, at the same time, he's a sweetheart of a guy. Like
Yeah.
he's a sweet person. Like he's a good person. But he just be so piped up sometimes. I'm the kind of person that's probably gonna come piss him off and be like, "Yo, Chris, yo, enough of that shit right there, dog. Let's fuck with these ladies. Let's talk this shit on. Let's talk this shit right here, and and let's do it over an up tempo record,
Mm.
but not that type of tempo record like we did. Like niggas that heard that 15 times. Let's 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 do some shit out of that. Let's get over here, and then it might piss him off because he might be like, because I feel like he like he like doing this. He like to keep it moving. Sometimes you
Right.
can't keep it moving all the time. You got to stop shit for a minute, think about it, put it in perspective, and
Yeah.
elevate it at it. Say, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's my little brother, man. I love him to death, and you know, I would love to make Thriller with him, Thriller 2.
Yep. Sean, I gotta highlight some of your talents here. I think this is the dopest Sean Garrett line of all time here. Boy, you better hope the future that you're promising me is as real as the 45 up under your seat. Do you remember what song that was?
Oh,
The Tierra Marie record, Phone
yeah,
Booth.
Marie, yeah.
Just the way you painted,
Yo, let me
just
tell
the
you
way you
something.
painted that picture, man, for that song, it was crazy.
That was telephone, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Phone Booth.
phone booth.
Yep.
You know what, man? I love about. Thank you, man. And
Yeah.
what I love about people like yourself is just, man, you guys really appreciate my work. And that Tia Marie shit was crazy.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like If there's any boys, yo, that shit was fucking hard. Phone
It
booth.
was, you know.
Like, I ain't had no daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really, man, we was really ahead of our time. We was ahead of our time. And you know, like my new album is coming. Um,
Yeah.
ready to drop my new album in a minute, and I'm really excited about that. And just I'm making an album, man, that I feel like women are gonna really like, and the guys are really gonna appreciate. And just doing some fucking hot. I feel like I'm just doing hot ass music, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and I just can't wait for the. I feel like the energy that we were given, it still ain't out here. Like it's not out here.
No, no. We talked about that. We're missing that feeling still.
I'm trying to give
You
it to
know,
you guys, man. It's
that
just,
feeling.
you know, um, it's just, man, you guys got to speak louder. I
Hmm.
really need y'all to speak louder, man. And as you can see with the campaign that's going on in reference to like losing people's lives over shit that is bullshit. It's the same thing. If we voice our opinions louder, if we voice what we want louder, man,
Yeah.
it'll be heard. But I know that's what the fans is wanting. I know that's like I got shit, man. Um, I got records, man. I be wanting to play y'all so much shit, man. I be wanting to play y'all shit like you know, I'm really excited about working with Normani. Got a
Mm.
couple fucking bomb bangers for her. But I just want to work with artists that can handle that energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like sometimes I don't work with. You know what? It's just the fact that, man, like I know how the energy. I know how. I feel like what I feel like when I work with people like Beyonce or Chris Brown, it be magic. It shit never took long. It never takes long ever.
Right.
So I'm not stupid enough to feel like I gotta go like make these weird ass arrangements to do that type of energy. Like
Right.
I just want to do it. You know what I mean? I don't want all that extra shit because it was never extra when we first started.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and so the fans be pissed off. Fans be mad and shit. And they be like, "Why we ain't getting this shit we used to get?" And it just be, be honest, man. It just be bullshit. It be waste of time, bullshit. I
Yeah.
can't control that. You know what I'm saying? All I could do is just do super dope ass music. But I could just play like I just give you a fucking snippet of the type of
Let's
fucking.
go.
This ain't even this some shit I'm gonna do for somebody else. Well, I'm just for all the females on this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like that's on here. I don't know how
Yeah.
many. I don't know who all on this motherfucker, but just like just to let y'all know that like my energy ain't changed, dog. It's like I'm still that guy. I feel like the shit right now is so mundane and the energy is so narrow. But this is like a record
Hmm.
I'm getting ready to do for a female. But
Call me a maniac. Call me a maniac.
Okay.
Call me a maniac. Call me a maniac. Give it to the deepest part of me until I stay gone.
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm still that
Yep.
motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep. Yep.
I just I just be like waiting on. I just be waiting because these people playing games, man. They don't want that motherfucker fire, dog. They don't want that fire.
No, trust me, they do. We just gotta wait. But man, I want to just highlight another part of your career, of your songwriting. The records that you did for Joe and Donnell Jones. Like the songwriting is crazy, but it's the way that you kind of like put your background vocals into it. Like there's something magical about it. I don't know what you're doing with those background vocals, but they just work. Like just talk about that. Like you add a vibe to the song.
Man, thank you, man. Oh man, I'm just so appreciative. Like honestly, um, because I just like to make records that make people feel good, and
Yeah.
and I can't all. I'm really gonna get back to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I have gotten back to that, but I'll play you just a couple records off my new album. But um
Yeah,
um I don't know, man. It's like I like making great music. I could just
yeah.
say I just like making great music, and if it needs some salt and pepper, I'm putting it in there. If it's like them vibes that I feel like, like Joe. It's like, okay, even with Joe, man, I used to be like, because when I would work with these artists like Donnell and Joe, and like these are all the guys I like looked up to as a kid, and like, damn, like one day,
Yeah.
damn, if I get a chance to work with those guys, it'd be fucking great. But I never really like thought I would ever even work with them, and so I always looked at like creating these records it was like a duet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or like it was like
Mm.
a dream. So it's like working with them. So I would create these records, man, and just create records that I felt like would sound good like that. His voice would sound great with my voice. Like, yo,
Yep.
let him dominate that lead and let me put this lush ass vibe in the back. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? That just would make it feel different and make it feel, just creatively. It's like painting, you know what I'm saying? I just like painting, man. So I just enjoyed
That's
it.
amazing.
Like enjoyed it.
Yeah, and then I was listening to that Megan Rochelle song "Let Go" again.
Man,
Those
cut it
lush
out,
harmonies just in
man.
the back. It was
Man,
amazing.
oh wow. Like you bring it out. Like that Let Go record man, that shit was great. That feeling was
Amazing.
so great.
Yep.
I always loved that song, dog.
Exactly. Yep. Just the
Woo!
way that song was arranged, crazy.
Let go, let go. That song was fucking great, man. Man, you know what, man? I was free. I was free, dog. I was.
Yeah.
It's just freedom. It's just freedom, man.
Yeah.
I feel like today, man, people ain't
It's a
free.
different time.
They're not free. They're just not free. It's a different time.
Yeah.
People use the title, "We ain't free." I mean, that's a different time, but it's just motherfuckers just not free. They're not free in
Hmm.
their mind and their heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they trying to impress people, trying to flex on the gram and shit. All that shit is corny. It's cool. It's cool. You can flex, but
Yeah.
it ain't. It's not free. You're not free. You know what I'm saying? Like man, I don't even feel like Chris. Like I'm telling you, like when Chris is free,
Yeah. Oh, I know.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Like he still has to play that game right now. I don't feel like he needs to, but it's just the way that the industry is. Like you gotta conform to a little bit just to stay relevant. It's crazy.
you know what, man? It seems like that, but it ain't like that, dog. Honestly, you do sometimes, but not
Yeah.
at this level. Chris can do
Hmm.
what the fuck he want to do. He
Yeah.
can. He just gotta understand that niggas got his back. Like we
Yeah.
love him. Like it's not. It just what it is, dog. It's like man, you get so hurt sometimes by disappointments and
Hmm.
people. Money, man. Money just money is a it's just people be so money hungry and they just it just disappoints you because they thinking about money. You
Yeah.
think about your art, you think about music, you think about creating, and it's
Yeah.
just like certain people that cross you, you just feel like it hurts you. It just hurts you to a point
Yeah.
where you just might not never be able to allow that kind of trust again. But
Hmm.
man, dog, that's why I keep fighting for it. Every day in my life. I fight for my freedom, my interpersonal freedom. I just want to keep
Yeah.
my freedom to be able to create shit. Like, um, I just want to create, you know,
Yeah.
that dope shit.
I mean, Sean, the one thing I appreciate about you, and this is probably the thing I appreciate you the most as a producer, as a songwriter, is you're willing to take risks. So for songs like Diva or Breakup, like these songs, if you didn't do it correctly, it could come off whack. But you always manage to make sure that the elements are there and that people will be able to gravitate towards it. Like, what's the balance and the art to that? Because I think if someone else tried to write a record like Breakup, it wouldn't work. But you've been able to do it multiple times. Blindfold Me, another one. right?
iPhone. Yeah, man. You know what? It's like cooking. You know, when you're a cook, man, you know, you need the right seasoning, and you know, you got to get them seasonings and shit. I need them seasonings all on the table before I start cooking. You feel me? And so, I'm pretty careful about what my ingredients are and um, what I choose to work on, what I choose to work with, man. So, you know, I'm just all like, there's a certain sense of humility. Like today, I know what's going on in the march. Like,
Hmm.
I know what I'm looking at when I look at a person's and I look in a person's eye, and I'm gonna bring this around what we're dealing with today. I can tell when a person hates me when I look them in the eye.
Hmm.
So I'm prepared to protect myself when I am around them. I can
Right.
give them love, but I can also protect myself. Now, I've grown to that point. I can still love somebody that has hurt me before if
Hmm.
I want to. You feel me?
Right.
So with that, it's like that's the balance when it comes to creating records. Like a breakup was, man. I knew when I first heard that beat. I remember when I was saying to Bangladesh, I was like, yo, let me get that beat right there, cause I need that. I want that beat right there. I want that.
Wow.
I need that for my single, dog. He was like, yo, we should do it for such and such. I was like, bang, how much you want me to pay you for that beat? Let me get that beat, cause I know what to do with that. So I would sit and listen to that beat for like, I remember listening to that beat for like an hour straight, and I kept fighting with myself, knowing that the beat was so fucking hard that I
Yep.
had to come up with a conversation that was important, but also an answer that was just as important.
Mm.
So loving you, loving you, loving you. That's the question. When I'm
Right.
loving you, why would you want to break up?
Hmm.
Why would you want to break up? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Loving you is the question. I'm asking you, loving you, loving you, loving you, loving you. When I'm loving you,
Hmm.
why would you want to break up with me?
Right.
You feel me? That was the fight. That was the
Yeah.
creating of the conversation that I know once I created that conversation, there was no fucking turning back. I knew that was a smash.
Wow.
You feel me? Because I knew I
Yeah.
first of all I had to fight the beat. I had to fight that beat. I had to fucking fight that beat. That motherfucking beat was a big ass gorilla. You feel me?
Yep.
You fucking Bangladesh, you motherfucker. That was fucking. Oh, that shit feels so good. Like that beat is
Hmm.
fucking nuts. Let me have that motherfucker and let me climb up on that elephant, right, and control that elephant.
Yeah.
And if I didn't control that elephant, I could have had a beat. It's that
Right.
simple. You feel me? And even like Diva, man, I did Diva. Somebody else wanted the record, and they started questioning me about the record. I was just like, nah, I'm good. I'm finna call Jay-Z. I'm gonna give him, yo, Jay, I got a fucking some monster for fucking, for Beyonce. And Jay was like, you know, he gave me the laugh. All right, kid, send me that motherfucker if it's that. And he heard it, and he was like, yo, can you come to New York tomorrow? And I was like, hell yeah. Um, she loves it, you know. He was like, she loves it, and you know, and we went up there and went crazy.
Amazing. Hey, I gotta give you a shout out for this song. This is honestly one of the best songs that came out the last decade. The Brandy record, Do You Know What You Have? That record right there, and I'm so sad that didn't get a chance to come out properly.
Yeah,
But that record, Mike Will on the beat, and just the way that you put that chorus together, crazy.
yeah, man. Thank you, dog. Um, That Brandy fucking album, dog. I felt like, dog. I did like 6 songs on that last Brandy album. Man, that Brandy shit be nuts.
Yeah.
All I can say is thank you, man. Like,
Yeah.
her voice is such a vessel tool. Just, I don't know, man. You know, I just feel like, man, like, people just gotta let God love them and just fuck with the people. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like, I think sometimes, man, we overthink it, dog. We overthink it, man. You gotta let the people love you. It's almost like, man, like, I like to go get a massage. You know why? Because I feel like the person, I only let girls give me massages because I like to be loved on. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like, man, just let her love you, cuz. Just let her put her hands on you. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta let a person love you. You gotta let a person define you. You can't define
Yeah.
yourself all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck
Mm-hmm.
are you doing, dog? Like how you gonna hit me with that? Like, I thought you was gonna say like fucking put it down. You said all the way I love you. Like you see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's what drives me insane about being a creative and doing music, and like that's that's what it is,
That's a
man.
great record, man. And that's beautiful. And then, Sean, let's fast forward a little bit here. We're almost out of time. I've got Mario Winans coming in 10 minutes, and I know you guys have done a lot together, so shout outs to Mario.
Yeah.
But, man, you did some work on Jacquees's last album. Now
Mm.
you're working on your album. Like, and the one thing I love about you is that you've always opened your doors up to the youth. You're always welcoming of the new guys coming in. You're always that big brother, that mentor to these guys. So, I know how much you helped Jacquees with his album, but how much do you think the young guys help you with you and your creative process?
I'm gonna be honest, man. Jacquees is my little bro, and I love him
Hmm.
so much. Um, I didn't get a chance to. He knows this. I'm gonna say it. Like, I didn't get a chance to be as. Um, I don't think I was able to be as influential as I wanted to be on
Mm.
the album because Jacquees is like. Can you see me still?
Yeah, yep, you're
Yeah.
good.
Um, Jacquees. I didn't get a chance to give him as much info as I wanted to give him in reference to
Hmm.
things I think he needed to compete.
Yeah,
I just wasn't able. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's like sometimes you don't get a chance to give as much as you want to. Like, I've always been very unselfish with my talent. But
yeah.
I'm picky too. I'm very picky with what I give myself to. You know what I'm saying? I give myself give a piece of my, because I'm so, I would probably say I'm very sensitive I'm really sensitive, believe it or not. I'm really
Hmm.
sensitive, and so it's like if I give myself part of me musically to somebody, man, it's just like I want that appreciation for what the fuck we trying to build. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I think with Jacquees, this album he put out, um, I didn't. There was 2 songs he took on the album. There's a third song that I really liked. I think he should have took, but at the same time, I just didn't get as much input because I was trying to say to him, you know how you talk to your little brother, you like, yo, man, yo, you gotta get out the streets right now because
Hmm.
it's wild. And your little brother's like, man, fuck that shit, man. Like, fuck this shit. I'm with all that shit. Like, bro, you don't understand. Like, bro, I'm with all that shit. Like, and it's like, I know you with all that shit, but you don't really know like who's standing behind that building and what's coming around that light pole, and why you shouldn't run the street light, or why you gotta stop at every stop sign. Every stop sign you gotta stop at. Every stop
Right.
sign. Fuck that shit, bro. Like, bro, we young. We don't give a fuck, man. We running through like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like when you run through those lights, you miss something.
Hmm.
So Um, man, the only time sometimes the only time your little brothers really understand that is when they like, damn, bro, I ain't gonna lie, like, shit, like, I see what you were saying, you know what I'm saying? So it's like with Jacquees, it's a strategy he got to play. It's a strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got to use his fucking strategy. He got to use it. If he don't use it, he's not going to be as strong as he can be. And he can be so strong. He has an amazing, his voice is so ill. It's so
Mm-hmm.
ill. You know what I'm saying? So listen, man, I'm very positive. All my conversation is very positive, very optimistic,
Yeah.
but real. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not a person
Yeah.
of bullshit. And this is the same conversation I'm sure that people had with Jodeci and people had with, like, you know, Mary J. Blige's and, like, like them greats. When I got a chance to work with Mary, man, I went in and I listened to her, but she didn't really like do too much over talking. She just said the shit
Right.
that mattered, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you knew that shit made sense. So you was like, okay, cool. So she told me I went here, I went to Pluto, I went to Mars, then I went to Venus. This was my experience at Venus. So once she told me all of her experiences on all these different planets, I knew what the fuck to give her without even blinking an eye. You know what I'm saying? Because I already studied the shit she been through. She told me again what she
Mm-hmm.
been through, so I was clear on what the fuck she was. You know what I'm saying? And it's just,
Wow.
I did my homework, she did her homework, and it clicked.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
So Sean, you've got the new album coming. I know you're also working on Usher's as well.
Yeah.
Just talk about what you have coming up here. Talk about Usher's album a little bit.
I'm gonna let Usher tell y'all about his album. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
been working on it. Usher is my brother. You know, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. Most of the records I be doing for Usher, dog, them shits be crazy. And he finally realized that he wanted, or Usher's a roller coaster. He's probably like one of the most amazing artists I ever worked with. But you never know what's gonna stick with him. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just
Mm-hmm.
let him figure it out. But we did some amazing work together, man. So I'm really excited about that. My brother he has an amazing life with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of twists and turns that come with it. So we just, man, be trying to give little bro, like, give our brother, man, like, um we just be trying to give him that shit, that new shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, but me, I'm turned up. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I'm turned up for his new shit. I'm turned up for my new shit. I'm gonna give y'all a little before we go, man. I'm gonna give y'all a little vibe of some of my new shit that's coming out.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna play it quick, man. But I'm out here, man. I'm going crazy. This record right here has a feature on it. This record has a feature on it. It's stupid. But I ain't gonna tell y'all who the feature is. I can't tell y'all that right now. You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
I'll tell you. But this shit for the ladies, man. This shit hot as fuck. I'm making my album. This album right here, man, for the ladies, man. Straight up. Damn, she can give me that money 10 times as hard as the niggas I know. She gon' walk dead out the shower, let it spread on the bed, and you know it's gon' be drippin'. Right when she sped, I'ma put my whole head right there when the dude I'ma be sick. Open, 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 yeah. Open. You know what I'm saying? I'm going crazy like that.
Wow.
I'm going crazy like this. I'm going crazy like this on everybody, you know what I mean?
Crossing the line, pushing every button, telling me, don't you get off it. I'm 3 out of 5,
Wow.
standing up on the road, telling me I should forfeit. You're sick in your mind, honestly, how many times in your life have you done this? Who run this shit now? It's what she told me, yes, she walking out, nigga, you forfeit. 620, here's 150. Real hood bitch, take too expensive. 430 club, big clothes. Baby, you don't go in, a whole crew lit it. She saw, 4 clutch hands, bitch. This went MTV cabbage. Just drove a main bitch. Oh, put up in that G63 with the Mac kid. Then hopped out of London into my first seat up in disbelief. Said she went to shoot the 3 around her with my girl, so charging no fee. It's gonna be you, me, and her. Call now and tell her come and get me. As soon as she comfortable bending it over, no wasting no time, I'm lit. Crossing the line, pushing every button, telling me don't you get off it.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah, man. So, you know, it's a whole lot of fun and games on the album. You know, it's a lot of excitement, a lot of dope collaborations, and the shit gonna sound like some new shit. It ain't gonna sound like none of the shit that we already hearing right now. You know, like I just don't believe in recycling shit. You know, I don't believe in like giving the fans anything less than that true shit. You know?
Promise I'll lick you so good you gon' get back. You gon' take every inch out of that mouth and get all of that spit back. When I let you go, you were gon' circle back. Yeah, that's some big facts. Oh, now you back home with no panties on.
Oh wow.
Look at this, baby come resist, sucking on the dick. I tried to send her home, but she wouldn't stay gone. All she did was return like a pelican. The bus again, you brag about your nigga is a kingpin. I don't got no time for the beefing. You know these street niggas is emotional and they ain't trying to dog or a bitch, I got a dick in.
You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Yeah, man. So,
Hey, listen,
I know
Sean,
you gotta
man.
go, dog. It's been a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know, we love Turbo 919. We can't wait for this new one. Just keep us posted, man. You know, we're gonna support you no matter what. We've been doing it for so many years, and you know, just keep it up. We've got your back.
And I want to say thank you, man. I appreciate all y'all support, man. And appreciate, you know, through the years, man. Y'all been riding with me. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. It's all good.
Absolutely. You take care.
All
Be
right,
safe
bro.
out there.
Be good, you too.